Making your way onto your back, giving your knees a hug, and just hold them nice and tightly. You can even roll your knees around in a circular motion, just giving your low back a little massage. And just allow the back of your head to be really heavy. So the back of your head can rest into the ground. Your shoulders can start to become really heavy, kind of relaxing all the muscles in your neck and in your shoulders. Allow your hips to be really heavy as well. Your tailbone resting, even pressing a little bit into the ground so that the spine is really long. And start to find a rhythm for your breath here. This is a rhythm that you can continue and carry with you throughout your practice and hopefully even your day to a certain extent. So you're starting to breathe slowly and softly, allowing your breath to be smooth in texture. And then maybe moving into a gentle happy baby here, if you can. There's a couple options for a happy baby. You could choose to keep your heels really close to your hips and then widen your knees apart and reach down through the inside of your thighs to grab a hold of your ankles. So that's one option. Again, just finding a little rock. Maybe. Another option would be to find full happy baby where the bottoms of your feet face the ceiling and your knees are up into the armpits. And again, maybe finding a little rock here. And then if you've lost that connection to your breath that you started with, just return to that even, smooth, rhythmic breath. Good, and then let's let the right foot come down to the mat, and then just extend the left foot up toward the ceiling. So the bottom of the foot is pressing up toward the ceiling. Make that left hip really heavy. So start to kind of draw that left hip down, away from the left armpit, left shoulder. And then if this is enough, stay here. Maybe you can grab a hold of that left thigh somewhere, maybe interlacing your fingers either behind the thigh or just kind of holding on to the left thigh. And if you can go a little farther, maybe you're reaching up and grabbing a hold of the calf, the ankle. Maybe you can reach and grab that left foot big toe. So kind of anywhere along those three movements, those three positions, just finding a gentle opening along the left leg, even into the left foot. And then we're not lifting the shoulders away from the ground in order to grab the left leg. Keep your shoulders and head really heavy still, and just reach with your arms. Just take one more breath here, and then we'll switch sides. So let the left foot come down, and lift the right foot up toward the ceiling. So the bottom of the foot, again, is facing the ceiling. Drop that left or that right hip away from the right armpit, right shoulder. Maybe grab a hold of that leg, somewhere along that right leg, thigh, calf, or maybe foot. And you're just gently pulling that foot or guiding that foot toward your nose, your face. One more breath in, And then exhale, let all the air come out as you bring the right foot back down to the ground. And go ahead and roll onto either your right or your left hand side. In a fetal position, you can let your knees kind of hug into your chest. Take a breath or two here. You can use the bottom arm as a pillow for your head. Okay, and then press yourself up to a seat. Go ahead and make your way to your hands and knees. So line up your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips, finding a neutral tabletop position. And then move through a few rounds of cat and cow. So sinking the belly, lifting the gaze as you inhale. Exhale, rounding through the upper back, gazing towards your navel and really pushing your palms into the ground in order to find that opening across the shoulder blades. Again, inhale, belly drops, gaze lifts, and just moving between these two extremes, these cat and cow. These are movements that we all know pretty well. And just finding, this extent of each of these two extremes. So as you drop the belly and lift the gaze, you're feeling this broadness across the chest, across the collarbones, plugging your shoulders onto your back. Just one or two more rounds like this. And then from here, we're going to start to walk the knees and the feet back to the back of your mat. And just kind of walk your fingertips forward. So it's almost like a heart-melting pose, but we're not going to quite go in there yet today. Instead, I just want you to find some rotations through the shoulders. So press your fingers down into the mat. Spread your fingers really wide. And then just start to stir some circles with your arms extended out long. And then maybe switch directions. And these circles can be as big or as small as you'd like. But try to move through them relatively slowly. And again, come back to your rhythm, the rhythm of your breath that you established at the beginning of practice. Good. From here, just send the hips up and back to a downward facing dog. So go ahead, move your hips up and back to a downward facing dog. You could choose to pedal the knees a little bit if you need. Sway through the hips perhaps. Or maybe you're just settling in stillness today. Good, and then take an inhalation and float the right heel up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, bend into the right knee. We're going to come to plant the right foot between the palms at the top of the mat. So maybe, it takes a couple steps to get there, whatever it takes. And then here's where the blocks could come in handy. So if you do have blocks or something like this rectangular shape, you can go ahead and grab those. If you don't have blocks, perhaps moving both of your hands to the inside of your right foot might be helpful. And then just let your palms come down. Let your palms actually come down. Fingers are spread really wide. Press into your fingertips. And then again, from here, we're going to stir some circles. So we're opening up into the hips and the wrists simultaneously. Kind of stir some circles, moving your shoulders around on top of your hands. Really reaching forward through the crown of your head, letting your spine be long. And always, if you need to, you can drop that back knee if and when you need. Just a couple more rotations like this. Good. Okay. And then if your right foot is on the outside of your right palm, go ahead and move that right foot in between both of your palms and drop the back knee. Untuck the back toes and take an inhalation to come up to a low lunge. Inhale, let the fingertips rise up. Draw that right hip back a little bit, bring the left hip forward. And then exhale, fold. Plant your palms maybe onto blocks. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, lengthen through your body. Exhale, and as you exhale, straighten. Begin to straighten through that right leg and bow over that front knee. Good. Inhale, right again, bending into that right knee, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, drop the back knee. Inhale, lift up, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. So we'll move through that a couple more times. I'm going to guide us through one or two more. So exhale, fold, plant the palms. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee and lengthen. Exhale, straighten the front leg, bow over that front leg. Right away, your next inhale, bend through the front knee, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, drop the back knee. Inhale, lift up, low lunge. Good, I'll guide us through one more, and then we'll flow more independently. So exhale, fold, plant the palms. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, lengthen. Exhale, straighten front knee, bow over front leg. Inhale, bend front knee, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, drop back knee. Inhale, lift up. So I'm going to let you go now here to flow through a few more, just like this. So this is an opportunity to use your own breath to guide your movements. I'm no longer cueing the timing. So even if you need to take more than one breath in each of these positions, go ahead and do that. And then just notice the natural ability that your inhales have to create space and to lengthen. And the natural ability that your exhales have to fold and turn inward and integrate. Okay, the next time you find yourself in that low lunge with the back knee dropping down, fingertips rising up, just stay there. Find your low lunge, we'll stay there. Meet each other there, there's no rush. Good. And then exhale, we're going to fold, plant both of your palms to the inside of the right foot. So both palms come to the inside of the right foot. We can heel toe that right foot out a little bit wider. And then tuck the back toes and lift the back knee up. Option one is just to stay here and breathe, finding length through the body. Option two, maybe you're coming down onto your elbows. Maybe coming down onto your elbows. And then option three is to take either one of those, but with the back knee dropping down. So kind of find what works for you. Try to really focus some attention to that right hip. It might be hard not to focus attention on that right hip, but try to keep that right knee glued to your right bicep. And breathe here. Continue to breathe here. Check in, make sure that that right heel is right underneath the right knee. So the knee is not tracking way forward or way back. Okay, one more breath. Come onto your palms if you're down on your shoulders. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee up. And then turn all 10 of your toes to face the long end of your mat. Yeah, and then with your hands underneath your face, start to just kind of move around here. So again, you can stir some circles, kind of moving your torso in a circular motion. Maybe you're choosing to kind of bow down a little bit. Keep a micro bend in your knees and just find some movement here in this wide leg, kind of half lift position. Maybe you're walking your fingertips forward and bowing down. Finding like a wide leg down dog position. So just kind of move as you see fit here. And maybe that means you're just bowing, you're kind of folding forward, finding some stillness. We don't always have to be exploratory in our movements. We can just settle into stillness and breathe. Okay, just one more breath. Take an inhale to lift up halfway. Walk yourself back to the front of your mat, so all 10 toes face the small end of your mat, the front of your mat. And then go ahead and step back to a downward facing dog. Just step back to a downward facing dog. And again, you can pedal the knees if you need or sway through the hips. And then take an inhalation, come forward to a plank pose. Come forward to a plank pose and then exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. We'll move through a few rounds of Bhujangasana or baby cobra. So plant your hands underneath your shoulders and with a bend in your elbows, draw your elbows up toward the ceiling and kind of together. So your elbows feel like they're magnetized together. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Press your pelvis into the mat. And then inhale, kind of lengthen your heart forward. Lengthen your heart forward with an inhalation. And then exhale, lower down. We'll do that a few more times. Inhaling to lengthen forward. You'll naturally find a little lift here as you lengthen forward. Exhale to drop down. For these last couple rounds, see if you can actually lift your hands away from the mat as well. So you're not using your hands at all to lift up. Take one more round just for good measure. Good. And then let's take our hands out really wide. So take your hands out even wider than your mat and tent through your palms. So come onto your fingertips, point your elbows up to the ceiling. And then same thing here, inhale, lift your heart up and reach your heart forward. Good. And then stay here and breathe. So stay lifted up high and just try on a few breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Good. Exhale to fold down. Bring your palms back underneath the shoulders. You can tuck the toes here, lift your thighs away from the mat, lift your knees away from the mat. And here's where you choose. You can press up to a plank from here, from your toes, or drop your knees down and press up that way. Just go ahead and scoot your body up to a plank, and then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Float your left heel to the ceiling Exhale and plant your left foot between the palms. So same kind of sequence of movements, opposite side. And again, we have all those same options. So blocks can be handy here to create a bit of a platform for your palms. And then stirring some circles through the hips and through the wrists. And yeah, if your palms can't come down, just moving that left foot to the outside of the left palm can be helpful. Okay, from here, drop the back knee when you're ready. Bring that left foot back in between the palms, untuck the back toes, and lift up to your low lunge. Lift your fingertips away from the mat and reach them up toward the ceiling. And just land in your low lunge. Take a few breaths here, drawing that left hip back, squaring the hips off to the top of the mat. And then again, we'll flow a little bit with our breath. So I'll take us through just one round this time, and then we'll flow on our own. So go ahead and exhale, fold, plant your palms. Inhale to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee and lengthen. Exhale, straighten the left knee, fold over the left leg. Right away, inhale, bend back into the left knee. Exhale, drop the back knee. Inhale, lift up, low lunge. So from here, go ahead and move through these 3 positions on your own. Inhaling to lengthen and lift. Exhaling to fold and drop down. Okay. Once again, the next time you find yourself in your low lunge, the back knee dropping, fingertips rising, go ahead and stay there. Meeting each other in the low lunge. Good. We'll take an exhale, drop both of our hands to the inside of the left foot. You can bring your blocks to the inside of the left foot, maybe heel toe that left foot out a little bit wider. Okay, option 1, you stay right here with the back knee dropping down. Option 2, you're lifting that back knee, again, maybe staying here. Option 3, maybe coming down onto your elbows. Really think about gluing the left foot big toe mound into the mat. Okay, one more breath. Start to lift up onto your palms if you've dropped down. If your back knee is dropping down, go ahead, tuck the toes, lift the back knee up. And then again, just walk all 10 toes to face the long end of your mat. And this time we'll have a little bit more structure. First, we're just gonna fold forward. So with a micro bend in your knees, hinge at your hips and fold forward as best you can, dropping the crown of your head down toward the earth. It might come close to the ground, it might not. You can bring your fingertips onto the ground to kind of isometrically drag the crown of your head down more. And it can feel nice to find some traction through the spine, so kind of nodding your head yes and no. Good. Take an inhalation to lengthen out halfway. So lifting your spine up to parallel with an inhale, and then use an exhale to fold back forward. Good. Go ahead, lift up halfway once again with an inhalation. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And then inhale, come all the way up to stand. Good, nice. Turn all 10 toes to face the top of your mat. And then if you can, step up with one step to the top of your mat. If you need to take a couple steps, then you need to take a couple steps. And then find mountain pose. So Tadasana, even standing, even breathing. Just allowing all the bones and the muscles in the body to stack and align. And just finding a few breaths here in mountain pose. Let's take an inhalation, float the fingertips around and up, gaze up at your palms, and then exhale, fold forward, folding over your legs. Take an inhalation to lengthen out halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Go ahead and step yourself back to a downward facing dog. Good. From your downward facing dog, once again, take an inhalation, float the left heel to the ceiling. Take an exhale, plant the left foot between the palms, and drop the back knee. One breath in, lift up to your low lunge, Anjaneyasana. And then right away, exhale, fold, plant your palms. We're gonna start to walk our hands back. So maybe grabbing a hold of your blocks, bringing them with you. Walking your hands back, stacking the hips over top of the back knee. The front toes will free away from the mat. So this is half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. So you can stay here. Maybe this is enough. Or maybe you're hinging forward, reaching your heart forward. Some stretching, some opening in that left leg. And then see here in these half splits, see if you can press the big toe, the mound of the big toe forward, and kind of peel the knife edge of your left foot back towards your nose. Even here, you can find a bit of length through your spine with every inhalation, every exhalation, maybe hinging at your hips, folding a little bit deeper. Good. Inhale, walk yourself back forward, bringing your blocks with you. We'll tuck the back toes from here, lift the back knee up. And then one breath, lift up to a high lunge. Go ahead, lift up to a high lunge. So the same as we did before, just the back knee is lifting. And then you can start to lift the heart up, kind of reach the fingertips back a little bit, just a little bit. Good. Take an exhalation, fold, plant your palms, drop the back knee. And again, we're just going to walk ourselves back to that half splits once again. So walk the palms back. If you don't have blocks, you're just coming onto fingertips. If you have furniture nearby, you can kind of brace yourself with the furniture. And either staying lifted high or hinging at the hips to bow forward. And if you find yourself, your thoughts kind of wandering to your to-do list, after yoga, see if you can just bring it back. Bring it back, anchor it to your breath. Good. Once again, walk yourself forward, back to that low lunge. We'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and just step up to the top of your mat. 1 or 2 steps to get there, fold forward. Take an inhalation to lengthen out halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your palms. Step your left foot to the back of your mat and drop the back knee. As you're ready, inhale to lift up to your low lunge. Exhale, fold, plant your palms, maybe grabbing your blocks, walking your hands back, stacking your hips over that back knee, coming into half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Again, your choice to stay lifted high or hinge forward. And think about really squaring your hips off here. Draw that left hip back as much as possible. Bring the right hip forward. Inhaling to lengthen through the spine. Exhaling to hinge, maybe a millimeter deeper. One last breath here. Inhale to come forward to that low lunge. Setting up for our high lunge, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then as you're ready, sweep your fingertips up to the ceiling. High lunge. Good. Exhale, fold, plant your palms, drop the back knee, come back to that half splits. Just walking your palms back. Either stay lifted or hinge at the hips, fold forward. One last breath here. Inhale, walk yourself forward. We'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step up to the top of your mat and fold forward, Uttanasana. Maybe grabbing a hold of opposite elbow here and just allow the knees to bend as much as you need. Just allow the knees to bend as much as you need, and you can kind of sway through the upper torso here. And just allowing the shoulders, the head, the neck to sway and bob as it will in space. Almost imagining more space coming in between each vertebrae of your back here. Lengthening out. Good. Bring your hands to your shins or your thighs and lengthen out halfway. Ardha Uttanasana, spine is parallel with the ground. Exhale, fold. Do that 2 more times. Inhaling to lengthen out halfway. Exhaling, folding. 1 more time like that. Good. Come all the way up to stand from here. Try to lead with your heart. Lead with your heart. Press into your feet. Come all the way up to stand. Maybe gazing up at your palms as they meet. And then exhale, pull your palms down in front of your heart. Just going to adjust the camera here. We'll move through a few balancing positions and then we'll take the practice back down to the ground. So for balancing, there's a few tricks, but nothing helps. Sometimes it's just we have bad balance today. So find one still point for your gaze to rest on, something that's not moving. And then just transfer the weight of your body into your left foot. Go ahead and hug your right knee into the chest. And just the right knee can be as high as it'll go. So maybe it's still hip height. Try to grab a hold of that right leg somewhere and roll out through the ankle. Left and right. Switch and move your ankle in both directions. Good. And then we'll take figure 4 here. So you can cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh and peel the toes of the right foot back towards the knee. Bring the hands together in front of your heart. This will help with your balance, I promise. And then just sit down into an imaginary seat, an imaginary chair behind you. Trying to stack the shoulders over the hips as much as possible. Maybe sitting down a little deeper. Good, 1 more breath. Inhale, try to keep that right foot lifted as you stand. Good, and then go ahead and grab a hold of the right knee with the right hand. Grab a hold of the right knee with the right hand and extend the left hand out to the left side. Palm is facing forward. And then see if you can draw that right leg out to the side. Draw that right leg out to the side. And then you can stay here. Maybe you can grab a hold of the foot. If you can grab a hold of the foot, maybe you can straighten that right leg out. Maybe not. Yeah, Christine, nice. And then the last piece is to try tipping your gaze over that left hand. Good, let's come back out, bend back into that left leg if it's straight. Draw the knee in, the hand in, and then set everything down. Good, just let that go. Gonna shake it out through the body. And we'll move to the opposite side. So again, transferring the weight of your body into your right foot. Go ahead and hug your left knee into the chest. Find those rolls through the ankle. Good, we'll find that figure 4, so crossing the left ankle over top of the right thigh and sitting down into this imaginary chair. Inhale to stand. Try to keep that left foot lifted, that left knee lifted. And grab a hold of the left knee with the left hand. And then just open up that right hand to the side. Okay, stay here. Maybe drawing that knee out to the side. Maybe you can reach down, grab a hold of the big toe, use your index and middle finger, wrap those two fingers around the big toe, or grab a hold of the ankle, whatever you can reach. And then if you can do that, extending out. Last piece here is to let your gaze rest on the right thumb. Good, we'll spend one more breath here. Bend back into the right knee. Just come out the same way you entered. So find all those same steps. Coming all the way back, eventually letting the left foot come down. Go ahead and shake it out if you need. Good, step up to the top of your mat if you're not there anymore. And take an inhalation, sweep your fingertips around and up, gaze up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen out halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your palms. Step yourself back to a plank. And then from your plank, lower all the way down to your belly. We'll set ourselves up for Sphinx pose. So if you know Sphinx pose, go ahead and move into it. Otherwise, we're gonna plant our elbows underneath the shoulders. The hands are in front of our faces, I guess, and pressing down into the ground through your hands and through your forearms. Press down into your forearms and kind of pull your heart, drag your heart forward and through your upper arm bones. And just try to keep your gaze really neutral. So not gazing too far up to the ceiling or too far down. About a foot or two in front of your fingertips seems to work well. Drop your shoulders away from your earlobes. And keep pressing the pelvis into the mat. You can kind of press the pelvis, the tops of the feet into the mat. Those 2 points can work as a bit of a lever to lift your heart forward and through even more. Okay. And then we'll come out of this, and as we come out, we have a couple options. So option 1 is to stack the palms, let the elbows come wide, and just rest one side of your face down. Option 2 is to tuck the toes and lift up to a forearm plank. So those are our 2 options. We're just gonna stay for 3 breaths, wherever you've chosen to be. If you're in a forearm plank, breathe. You know, your breath could be as easy and smooth as it was when we first started the class. Okay, wherever you are, come back to Sphinx pose. So dropping your hips down if they're lifted, coming to set your elbows back underneath the shoulders, pressing into the forearms. Shining the heart forward and through. Good, one more breath here. And then we'll come back to those same options. So if you're dropping your face and you're resting, try to turn the opposite cheek down. So you're just, the opposite cheek can come down. And then lift up to a plank if you're going there. Okay, coming into our third and final round of Sphinx pose. Go ahead, set yourself up. Okay. And then just go ahead and come down. This time just resting your forehead onto your palms. Let your elbows come wide. And then just sway through the hips a little bit. So just wiggle your hips from side to side. Maybe your heels will kind of wiggle from side to side. Just totally let go here. Good, and then from here, we're just gonna make our way to a child's pose. Planting your palms underneath the shoulders. And then from your knees, just press your knees into the ground and go ahead and sink your hips back to your heels. Bow your heart down. Take a child's pose. And just let the whole weight of your body surrender into the ground. Just like no holding, no gripping, no tension anywhere. Just totally heavy. Shoulders are heavy, head is heavy, hips are heavy. If you've never tried it and you have someone close to you, after class you can try this, you can get them to do this. But if you have someone behind you, just to put a bit of pressure on your low back, on your hips. It feels so good here in this child's pose. Like if someone comes and just presses into your low back, your hips, and kind of puts a bit of pressure, feels so good. So you could try that sometime. Good, we'll take a little shoulder stretch here. So you can bring your palms together to touch. Inside of your palms together to touch. And then bend through the elbows and bring the thumbs to touch the back of your neck. Take a big breath in and sigh, let it out. Maybe one or two more like that, kind of inhaling, filling the lungs, and then exhaling, letting it all out the mouth. Okay, reach the fingertips back out. We're just gonna walk the palms back toward the knees. You can bring the heels off to one side, hips off to the other, and just bring your feet around and in front of your body. Let's take butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana. So with butterfly pose, there's a couple options. So like traditional butterfly, you have your heels quite close to your hips. If that's not really feeling good today, just let your heels come really wide so you're finding more of a diamond shape through your legs. And then option one is to lift up really high through the heart. And then option two is to hinge forward. Hinging at the hips and kind of reaching your heart forward. And the farther your heels are from your pelvis, the more of a rounding you can find in your back. But if your heels are quite close to your hips, try to keep a straight and long back. So when you're hinging forward, let it be from the hips. Just one more posture here before we start to close everything down. So bring your knees together with the help of your hands. And extend your right leg out long. Bring your left foot to the inside of the right thigh so that the sole of the foot touches the inner thigh. Let that left knee drop out and down. And then peel the toes of the right foot back towards your nose. And then you can plant your hands on either side of your extended right leg. So planting your hands here and actually turning, like physically turning your heart to face that right leg. Take an inhale, lengthen through your spine, and then exhale, hinging forward a little bit. You can start just by walking your fingertips closer and closer toward that right heel. Let there be a little bend in that right leg. It doesn't have to be locked out. In fact, you're going to find more space here in that hamstring if the knee is just slightly bent. Use your breath, again, finding length through the spine with every inhalation, exhaling, folding a little deeper. And then maybe you get to a point where you can bring your hands onto that right leg, maybe the shin or the ankle. Okay, one more breath here. And then slowly walk yourself back up. Switch sides. Extend your left foot out, right foot inner thigh. Again, turn your heart to face that left leg. Let there be a little micro bend in that left knee. And then start to fold forward. Always inhaling to find more length. Exhaling to find a little bit more depth. Take one more breath and then start to walk yourself back up slowly. Good. Bring both of your knees into your chest and just go ahead and make your way onto your back. When you arrive on your back, give your knees a hug into your chest. So this is the same position we started in. Notice how this position feels different from when we first started. Maybe moving into a happy baby once again. Letting either the knees can go wide apart with the heels close to the hips, or you can let the bottoms of the feet face the ceiling. Either variation. Same thing here, you know. Are there any major differences in the quality of your breath, in the space in your body here when compared to the first few moments of practice? Okay, let both of your heels come down. Heels come down and widen your heels, your feet to the edges of your mat. So your feet are wider than your hips. Let both of your knees fall to the left. You can open up your arms into a T here. And let your gaze rest over top of the right hand. So both knees are falling to the left, gazing right. Bring your knees back up through center and switch sides. Let both knees fall to the right. Let your gaze rest over the left palm. And bring your knees back up through center. Scan from head to toe. Is there any last movements that you need to take? Go ahead and officially close your practice off. If nothing comes to mind, go ahead and extend all of your limbs out into Shavasana. So if you're all done, there's nothing left to do, go ahead and extend out. You're finding corpse pose, Shavasana. And go ahead and feel free to take up space if you have it. Let your limbs extend past the parameters of your yoga mat. Maybe your heels come wide, hands come wide. Press into your elbows and kind of shimmy your shoulder blades, nestle them deeper onto your back so that your heart has a little bit of a lift. And just take rest here. And throughout the next few minutes, if you find yourself going through what the rest of your day must look like, just say, you know what, I'm going to think about you in 3 minutes. So I'm going to put you to the side and just come back to where you are right now. Take this rest fully. I'll come and get you in 2 or 3 minutes. Start to deepen your breath again. And as you come back to your breath, start to wake your body up slowly. First, just wiggling your fingertips and your toes, rolling out through your wrists and your ankles, starting to wake your body up slowly, maybe stretching the body out long, perhaps hugging your knees into your chest for one final squeeze. And then eventually make your way onto your right hand side, again finding that fetal position, giving your knees a gentle squeeze into your chest. You can use your bottom arm as a pillow for your head. Take a few breaths here. And then make your way up to a seat. Try to keep your eyes kind of closed as you make your way to your seat. And then once you arrive in your seat, if you can just gently close your eyes. And take a few moments to honor yourself. Just thanking yourself for showing up, for spending this time, and anything else that comes to mind. Okay, thanks everybody.